Today on PGTV News, video conference is ever more important to keep people connected during work and socializing, but meetings are being disrupted by uninvited guests. How to protect your video calls, coming up.
Also, a Florida city is testing a way to protect people from the coronavirus while distributing test kits. How this strange-looking vehicle could change future deliveries. That's all ahead on PGTV News. Welcome to PGTV News. I'm Steve Barnes.
And I'm Tina Mann. As the procedures to help limit the spread of coronavirus have forced many businesses to reduce or eliminate staffing, many Polk County residents have sought out unemployment assistance. Unfortunately, computer systems were unable to keep up with the increased traffic. According to Governor Ron DeSantis, those issues have been resolved. He says that the computer's system capacity has been increased to handle 120,000 simultaneous connections, about double the peak usage in recent weeks, and 750 additional state employees will be trained to handle and process phone calls. Private call centers are also being contracted to provide additional service. Since March 15th, more than 500,000 Floridians have applied for unemployment, compared to 326,000 in all of 2019. In 1 week, 3.8 million calls were made to the department, 50% more than all of last year. The Department of Economic Opportunity said it's also working to expand online capacity with additional servers and began accepting paper applications to accommodate more claims. Staffing from other state agencies are also being assigned to help with the increase in applications for assistance.
Wow. 50% more applications in 1 week than in all of 2019.
All of 2019.
It's crazy.
That's because our unemployment was historically low in 2019, so this is a huge blow.
Well, and we're facing, I mean, this is certainly unprecedented times that we're facing economically because of the whole coronavirus situation, but hopefully, you know, this is a temporary thing, and those folks who are, you know, being forced to sign up for unemployment will be back into their jobs in no time. Let's hope for it. The FBI has issued a warning about a new kind of cyber attack designed to take advantage of new social distancing measures called Zoom bombing. According to law enforcement, Zoom bombers are hackers who disrupt video conference meetings with pornography, hate speech, or threatening language. The name comes from one of the most popular video conferencing solutions, Zoom, but experts say that this kind of attack can appear in any video conferencing software that allows people to join the virtual meeting by clicking a link with a publicly shared meeting password. To protect your meetings from unwanted intruders, the FBI suggests the following steps. Do not make meetings or classrooms public. Require meeting password, or, if the software allows, use the waiting room feature to control the admittance of guests. Do not share a link to teleconference or classroom on unrestricted publicly available social media posts. Provide the link directly to specific people. Manage screen sharing options. Change screen sharing to host only if the software allows. Ensure that users are utilizing the updated version of the remote access meeting applications. As video conference software companies have become aware of these issues, they are making security updates. Lastly, ensure that your organization's telework policy or guide addresses requirements for physical and information security. If you are a victim of a teleconferencing hijacking or any other cyber crime, report it to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov. Additionally, if you receive a specific threat during a teleconference, please report it to tips.fbi.gov.
Telecommuting is definitely becoming more and more popular. I know that I've been on lots of conferences in the last week and accidentally joined one that I wasn't supposed to be in, so I wasn't hijacking it, but I kind of hijacked it on accident. So.
Yeah. And I think, you know, as the popularity of these continues to grow, and even once we get out of this whole social distancing thing, you know, you can foresee that people are going to be used to using teleconferencing now, and it'll probably be a tool that gets utilized a lot more. these types of things are going to be an issue. They've got to look out for them.
Right, and luckily they're already working on it.
Yep.
So. Thousands of acres of fruits and vegetables grown in Florida are being plowed over or left to rot because farmers can't sell to restaurants, theme parks, or schools due to reduced demand or closures caused by the coronavirus. Other states are having the same issues. Agriculture officials say leafy greens in California are being hit especially hard, and dairy farmers in Vermont and Wisconsin say they have had to dump a surplus of milk intended for restaurants. Most harvests in Florida occur during the winter months, making the problem acute in Florida. Florida leads the U.S. in harvesting tomatoes, green beans, cabbage, and peppers during this time of year. While some of the crops are meant for grocery stores, many farmers cater solely to the food service market or restaurants, schools, and theme parks. All of these venues have been hit hard over the last few weeks. This market loss has created a domino effect throughout the farming industry, which is Florida's second largest economic driver. Agriculture yields $155 billion in revenue and supports about 2 million jobs. Many growers have donated produce to food banks, but there's a limit on what the charities can accept, and storage is an issue for perishable fruits and vegetables. Just more not great news.
Yeah, I think probably you'll see this in industries across the board. Is there's a ripple effect going on, and as some businesses shut down, it's going to affect the supply chain of other businesses, and that's what we're seeing here. You know, you just hang on and.
You do, and it's ever more important to make sure you are buying locally and making sure you're supporting your local farmers markets and things like that in this time.
Yeah, a lot of farmers are going to turn to farmers markets and that type of thing to try and get some of that produce sold, and it'll probably be discounted really cheap because they're just trying to get rid of it and get it in the hands of people who need it. Mm-hmm. The city of Lakeland is taking steps to prevent the spread of coronavirus to its employees. Dozens of non-essential Lakeland employees have been told not to report to work. City Manager Tony Delgado said that he is still working through the process of determining which staff members are essential and who are not. Those deemed non-essential and are unable to work from home will be placed on paid administrative leave through April 30th. Delgado said the decision was made to comply with Governor Ron DeSantis' Safer at Home order. More than 500 Lakeland employees are already working from home, according to Delgado. If you eliminate police officers and members of the fire department from that count, that figure represents half the city's workforce. The city has given out 363 tokens to allow staff secure remote access and approximately 90 laptops. It still has about 20 to 30 loaner computers to help ease the transition. The city's human resources, financial, and IT departments are largely already working from home. Delgado expects parks and recreation, community, and economic staff to be affected as well due to closures. All Lakeland employees placed on paid administrative leave will be on call in case an emergency arises. The city manager said he also expects to speak with Lakeland Electric about modifying crews they send out, perhaps reducing personnel while allowing the municipal-owned utility to operate. Similar reviews will be done for the city's public works, waste and wastewater staffing.
Florida National Guard's Charlie Troop, located in Tallahassee, is being deployed to Lakeland to respond to the coronavirus pandemic. This state activation brings 54 men and women to Lakeland to support the Florida Department of Health. Charlie Troop's job will be to provide general medical support and assistance in the distribution of necessary commodities such as hand sanitizer, latex gloves, thermometers, and plenty of thermometer covers. To ensure the safety of the community, each of the guardsmen and women will have their temperature checked and recorded multiple times a day to ensure that they are in good health.
Big hand out to our armed forces and those that are in service, and especially these guardsmen that are, they're always ready and waiting, and now it's time to be activated, and it really makes you appreciate the time and effort that's spent in preparation for things like this.
Right, and it's interesting to know that, even this for them is unprecedented. This is not something that they've necessarily trained for as much as other emergencies and things like that. I know I spoke with one of the consultants that works with Polk County the other day, and he's actually being deployed, and he was just saying that this is just something that they're having to receive all new training for.
Yeah, yep.
So.
But big thanks goes out to them for sure.
Absolutely.
While Polk County schools have been offering meals for students during the coronavirus, some parents have no transportation to pick the food up. The school district is now working with two charities, Faith Extreme and Lighthouse Ministries, to deliver meals to those who need it. It started when Faith Extreme Executive Director Sean Fielder loaded 10 meals into a cooler in his SUV and delivered it to a few families. When the schools shut down, families began contacting him about getting help with food. He put a post on social media, and the next day, Polk County Public Schools Regional Superintendent Tammy Dawson contacted him to partner on the breakfast and lunch program. Fielder said the program makes parents and children feel less isolated and gives them some valuable support. You know, it's nice to see, again, community partners teaming up
Right.
to provide a valuable service to the community.
Right, and it is really important with the recent announcement from the Polk County Schools that they're going to a more reduced schedule. That's going to cause even more problems with trying to make sure you get there on the right days.
Right.
So the fact that these charities, and I know that there's a couple others that have also stepped up, it's great that they're making sure these kids aren't going hungry.
Yeah. Well, and you know, we had the story earlier about the farming crops
Right.
going down, and you know, possibly this might be another solution. Is, you know, the
Right.
farmers start working with some of these organizations to get the crops that are going to go bad out there into the hands of people that need it.
Good idea. Those who were spending time outdoors in Winterhaven will have to find new places to social distance. Winterhaven City Commissioners voted in favor of closing all of the city parks as well as a number of boat ramps and golf courses in an effort to limit the spread of the novel coronavirus. These closures are expected to last through April 30th. The following areas will be completely closed off to visitors: Lake Ship and Park, Lake Silver and MLK Park, Lake Hartridge and the Nature Park, WG Row Boat Ramp, Lake Howard East, Lake Martha, Lake Maud, and the Willowbrook Golf Course. All other parks within the city limits will be closed. The city is keeping its trails open because they pose less of a risk, but park amenities surrounding the trails, including playgrounds, are closed. The city says police will be monitoring the parks and educating those who gather in those areas. I don't think they need to find another place to social distance. I think that we should follow Governor DeSantis's, recommendations and stay at home.
Yeah, I mean, exercise is a big important part of staying healthy for sure. But there are certainly things that you can do in your household or right there, walking the streets of your neighborhood, but always maintaining that distance that's necessary. I know I live near County Park boat ramp, and I was out testing a canoe a week ago or so, and it was very busy.
Right.
Since most of the parks are shut down, and now some of the only things that are left open are those boat ramps. It gets busy, and it's just a matter of time before we have to take a look at those across the board, and obviously Winterhaven's already done it.
Yep.
Even as colleges shut down on-campus classes, one local institution is working to protect healthcare workers. Florida Polytechnic University has partnered with Advent Health to 3D print components for protective face shields. The face shield components are being printed on 20 of the university's 3D printers, and an additional 10 printers will soon be added. Dr. Matt Bohm, Director of Industry Engagement and Capstone Projects at Florida Poly, said he hopes 3,000 to 4,000 face shield components will be completed by the end of April. He and his 7-member team are producing the face shield components needed while allowing only one person in the lab. This staffing schedule and the sanitizing of work areas and tools is to ensure the health of those creating protective gear for the hardworking medical professionals on the front lines of the coronavirus battle.
Makes you wonder if they got that idea from that kid last week.
Or the kid got it from there. But either way, a really great use of resources. So the students need to
Right.
do their capstone projects. what better way than to actually be creating stuff that's getting put into use, into service right away.
It's a fantastic idea.
Yep, absolutely.
As social distancing becomes even more important, Jacksonville's Mayo Clinic is using autonomous vehicles to transport medical supplies. The Mayo Clinic is working with the city's transportation authority, an autonomous shuttle fleet service provider called Beep, and a French AV builder to drive tests collected at Mayo's new drive-through testing location back to the clinic. The use of 4 automated vehicles began Monday. The vehicles operate in full autonomous mode without anyone on board to transport COVID-19 tests from a drive-through testing site to a processing laboratory on Mayo's campus. Staff wearing gloves and protective masks place sealed containers of test samples in the automated vehicles, strapping them down before the doors close and the vehicles move off. The AVs are followed by a security vehicle with flashing lights along hospital roads to the laboratory. Pedestrians, traffic, and staff are kept away from the electric AVs as they roll silently to their destination. Their progress is monitored from a mobile command center to maintain safe operation.
This is pretty interesting.
This is cool.
Yeah, that AV bus there, the autonomous vehicle bus. I couldn't tell what was the front and what was the back. It was kind of an interesting design, and but no, this is one of those instances where we're being pushed to kind of accelerate some of our testing and some of our practices. You know, autonomous vehicles have been on the radar for a while now.
Right, and they're expecting, planners and they're forecasting that we will probably be fully autonomous by 2045. And that seems like a really long time away, but that's within the next 20 years.
Right, and I think this is a great opportunity. You know, obviously the Mayo Clinic over there, they have a large campus, and so, you know, from the testing sites to the laboratory, it gives them a chance to kind of real world test some of these features on the AV machines.
And keeping people safe.
Yep,
win-win.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for watching PGTV News. The board review is coming up.
Welcome to the Board Review with news about your county government. I'm your host, Tricia Pichette. Today you'll learn about County Commission actions from the April 7th, 2020 board meeting. While Tuesday's meeting took place in the County Commission boardroom as usual, the meeting was anything but. In keeping with social distancing guidelines to prevent against the spread of COVID-19, commissioners were given a 1-chair buffer at the dais while the Clerk of Courts, Stacey Butterfield, was seated opposite County Manager Bill Beasley and County Attorney Michael Craig at the makeshift desks on the floor of the gallery. This form of meeting has become the new norm. However, it hasn't stopped the county's business from continuing as the board tackled its regular agenda Tuesday morning. The board approved a contract that will allow for the operational maintenance and support of the public safety answering point system at the Emergency Communications Center for another 6 years. The services included 2 on-site technicians for day-to-day maintenance and support of the 911 system and PSAP system to keep the 911 center operational around the clock. These technicians will conduct daily preventive maintenance, troubleshooting, quarterly review of the circuits, upgrade installations, and other services. The approved agreement with Krause & Associates is expected to cost about $293,000 annually. As the Banana Road Sidewalk project continues to progress, it will provide paved sidewalks along Banana Road between Harrison Road and the Churchwell Elementary School. The board Tuesday approved modification number 1 to the consultant services authorization with HDR Engineering, which is expected to cost about $102,548. This will allow for the design and permitting work for the sidewalk project. With a high amount of growth and traffic along US 27 corridor, it has become necessary to have a right turn lane on Four Corners Boulevard. An agreement with HDR Engineering, Inc. for the US 27 at Four Corners Boulevard Intersection Improvement Project. This was approved Tuesday and will accomplish just that. But a lot of work goes into making that happen. The scope of services for this agreement includes roadway plans, signing and pavement marking plans, traffic signal modification plans, street lighting modification plans, and utility relocation plans for Polk utilities. The scope of services also includes obtaining the necessary permits from the Florida Department of Transportation and coordinating with other impacted utilities. The consultant is to perform these services at a total not to exceed fee of $152,175. A grand pavilion, multipurpose field lighting, and basketball court lighting will be built as the final additions to the Lakeland project following the approval Tuesday of a Community Investment Program amendment that increases the project by $550,000 and transfers $350,000 from the Leisure Services MSTU reserves. In public hearings, the board also heard several public hearings on a variety of items. Those items up for consideration included an economic development ad valorem tax exemption amendment granted for dispenser packaging, following several setbacks for the company that delayed it meeting the agreed-upon timeline. This amendment approval would roll the company's timeline period forward by 1 year and begin in 2021 and end in 2023. The board held the first hearing but took no action on a Land Development Code text amendment for Shepherd Road storage. The amendment, which is to Appendix E, would add development standards. The board adopted a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment and associated ordinance to change the future land use designation for the Willow Oak Baptist Church from residential suburban to institutional in the suburban development area. A small-scale comprehensive plan amendment and associated ordinance was approved by the board Tuesday that changes the future land use designation from residential low 4 to high-impact commercial center on about 0.78 acres in the transit supportive development area. Another small-scale comprehensive plan amendment and associate ordinance was approved for a change to the future land use designation from institutional to business park center in the transit supportive development area. In a related item, a sub-district map change from Business Park Center 1 to Business Park Center 2 in the transit supportive development area on about 7 acres also was approved by the board Tuesday. In its final item, the board approved an ordinance that establishes the Sandmine Road Community Development District in unincorporated Polk County. Well, that wraps up this edition of the Board Review. To keep current with programs and progress in the county, visit us online at polk-county.net or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We encourage you to watch the next scheduled board meeting at 9 a.m. Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. I'm Tricia Pichette. Thanks for watching.